Warning, spoilers ahead. Hello everyone, this is Vic and today we're gonna use a totally different way to make a video. We're gonna make a long video about arbitrations. I'm going over everything that's contained in an arbitration, how to perform and what you can get out of it. Arbitrations are elite missions that are available once you have cleared the entire solar map, including the entire storyline of the Chimera prologue, which is required to clear the Ropallalist node. Don't worry, I'll give you a minute. You're done? Cool, let's continue. Once you have cleared the entire solar map, you should visit the Arbiters of Hexes, who will give you the notification that you have indeed proven your worth and that you can participate in these elite alerts. The cool part about arbitrations is that a Warframe and a weapon are randomly selected and gain a 300% power buff. This might become helpful when one of the top tier Warframes is picked and you can choose it for the arbitration. Arbitrations are harder than usual missions that consist of high leveled enemies and increased difficulty on the objectives. For example, the survival and defensive rotation times are doubled. The same goes for Excavation, where you have to complete 2 excavations with an extended duration to receive your reward. Here's the catch though. These excavations take 3 minutes each and you can have multiple out at once. A good team is able to capitalize on this and you can have multiple out at once. This gives you a very nice yield. A 1 hour excavation with 40 digs yields you on average 20,000 endo, 6 sculptures, 2 rare mods, 1 aura forma and an ephemera. You also receive Vitus essence. This is a resource that you can trade to the Arbiters of Hexes to receive special items like archwing ribbons, special emotes, weapon skins, cosmetics and a few mods for your Warframes. Every hour there's a chance that the Excavation arbitration appears. All 3 factions can show up and have varied difficulty levels. While an average team with the necessary prerequisites enters the arbitration, some factions might pose a larger threat than the other. In my opinion, the hardest faction is Corpus by a large margin. Grineer are not too difficult when using a full corrosive projection team, and the Infested are quite easy in general. So, now that we know where and how to get it and what's in it, we can go to the main part of our guide. The arbitration should not be taken lightly and only the best gear will suffice. Due to the differences between factions, I will split up every category where I find it necessary. First, let's go over some altered gameplay mechanics. As stated before, rotations take longer and double the amount of effort is necessary to receive a reward. The reward pool is also different from your usual mission, where the drop table starts at A again, B and then the C rotation. With arbitrations we will proceed getting the C rotation after your 3rd reward. During arbitration missions you will also encounter arbitration drones. These provide immunity to all damage, Warframe abilities and status effects to nearby enemies. When you see them in the middle of a group, target these first. Death is much more punishing in arbitrations. When you die you leave behind a tower and your allies must gather tokens dropped by the arbitration drones. Once you have 5 of these, your allies will be able to revive you when they stand close to the tower. There are 2 core Warframes for arbitrations, Frost and Korra. Frost can contain the Excavator in a protective bubble and will soak damage until dissipating. He can also bring the Icy Avalanche modification to improve his allies' defenses. This modification is extremely powerful when you have the 300% buff on Frost. Frost's main role in the team is a supplier, providing bubbles, defenses and batteries. When a team member is not immediately available, he should stay at the otherwise undefended Excavator. Korra, her main strength in arbitrations come from her Strangledome. This ability allows her to grab enemies and fling them around helplessly, distracting other enemies into attacking their allies, after which Korra can pick them off. The augment Pilfering Strangledome will also provide a high chance to double the batteries received from carrier enemies. Korra's personal pet Venari provides her and the excavators a lot of sustain. Venari's bodyguard together with Pilfering Strangledome are utmost important augments. These will prove themselves useful throughout the arbitration. Each Korra will assign themselves with 2 letters, consisting of AD, BE and CF. These letters correspond with the excavator rotations. Whenever a new dig comes up, the available Korra should proceed to the next dig and start defending it. When a team is less confident in their ability to continuously run 3 excavators, 2 will also work just fine. Frost is able to more reliably provide his support to his allies, while the extra ally will provide their strengths to the team. Slow Nova is an excellent support Warframe. She will provide a strong 75% slow that also makes enemies take double damage, a teleport for her allies that can be used to traverse the battlefield and has a strong defensive ability that will keep herself alive. The greatest danger in arbitrations is death. When you die, you will leave behind a tower where your allies must provide tokens to revive you. The augment Phoenix Renewal from Oberon bypasses this entirely and allows you to continue your merry way. Gara has the right kit to protect the point by herself. She sports one of the strongest damage mitigation abilities available and adds a 2nd and 3rd layer to Frost's already strong defense. Due to the duration of an arbitration, Gara can acclimate a large buff on her Splinter Storm ability, allowing her to scale as well as her enemies do. She is extremely effective against the Infested and the Grineer. Limbo has the ability to completely shut off an excavator from any nearby enemy. When an area is being overrun, he can provide the crowd control necessary to keep the excavator up indefinitely. He does have to watch out for any nullifier drones. The following Warframes are not as strong as you might think, but they are very effective with the 300% power strength buff. Banshee, Rhino and Wisp. These Warframes get out of control with the 300% damage buff, spreading out their buff to any nearby allies, and the allies can use it to perform better than they can ever imagine. Rhino can easily provide a 400% damage buff to your allies. Wisp can triple your effective health and make your weapons fire at least twice as fast. Banshee's multipliers allow you to take down the toughest enemy in just one hit. The weapon selection is free to your choice. Any weapon that performs well in the final sortie mission will prove useful in an arbitration, but it's ill-advised to bring any self-damaging weapons like the Lens, Zar or Tonkor. As stated earlier, death is a hefty setback for your team, making self-damage something you really want to avoid bringing to an arbitration. Primary weapons that come to mind are the Opticor Vandal, the Arca Plasmor, the Ignis Wraith and the Tigris Prime. These weapons can make short work of heavy units and drones, always built onto the weakness of your foes. Therefore, it's advised to bring radiation damage for Grineer, magnetic damage for Corpus, and corrosive damage for Infested. For secondary weapons, kit guns will prove their worth in arbitrations. A well-built Catchmoon or Tomefinger will take down level 170 units in just one shot when modded correctly. The Static Core is also extremely powerful because of its powerful and wide AoE damage. Akshigara Prime, X-Stiletto Prime and Euphona Prime are innately powerful, but are not as strong as the aforementioned hand cannons. Melee is less important in arbitrations as you want to take most enemies out from afar. I usually bring a Play Kiwar due to its mobility and heavy unit slaying when something enters the bubble. Weapons that have an innately high crit chance and range will prove useful if you really want to use a melee weapon. For companions, it's advised to use the Jinn Sentinel during arbitrations. Enemy Sense is a very strong modification that you want to keep up at all times so you know where the enemies are messing up. At very high levels your companions go down very quickly, and once taken out they can no longer be used during the arbitration, except for Jin, which can, together with the modification Reawaken, spawn back at your side after 90 seconds. If you don't have the Jin or the Reawaken mod, you can bring a Kavat or Kubro with a maxed out health, armor and shield build so it remains as long as possible. Arcanes are very essential during arbitrations. Arcane Energize, Arcane Grace and Arcane Barrier works wonders for your Warframe during arbitrations. Mage's Lockdown is a core element to reach high-end arbitrations, allowing you to one-shot most enemies on a void dash. The Kit Gun Arcane, Pax Bolt, allows you for better energy management whenever you take down an enemy with a headshot. The focus trees for your operator are very important. Vazarin is the advised focus tree to use during these elite missions. Vazarin provides you a lot of sustain when using the protective dash, and you make your excavators immune when you're in a pinch. You can effectively tether and lock down enemies with Sonic Dash. Guardian Blast allows you to give your Warframe more shield, allowing you to sustain a bit more punishment. Frost can bring the Zenuric focus tree to provide himself and his allies more energy and making it less strenuous when running Icy Avalanche, especially as the protective dash buff doesn't stack and a maximum of 3 excavators can be digging at once. Spectres are helpful in general, but shine in these elite missions, as they start out at a very high level and can make an ideal distraction so you can focus on other tasks like charging excavators or taking down tough enemies. Trinity is a top tier Spectre. She provides healing, energy and is hard to kill due to her link and blessing ability. Nidus is another top tier Spectre. He provides healing, strong crowd control and a power strength buff. Octavia is a more offensive oriented Spectre, providing an assortment of powerful buffs. Syndicate Spectres are also quite useful if you need a distraction. These are quite durable and can be healed with the Vazarin focus tree. For gear, I advise the following items. Always bring a set of Spectres so you can adjust to the situation. Energy pads are very useful when you are drained by an Eximus and really need that defense up. Team ammo pads might help out during a long arbitration when you run out of ammo. Everything set up? Nice. Let's get into the arbitration. First, let's get over some strategies for Korra. This works very well for both Grineer and Infested, but might be a bit lacking against Corpus. I will cover that faction later on. Dig sites are defined by the letters A, B, C, D, E and F. Every Korra should define their roles. Each Korra will either cover A and D, B and E, or C and F. This allows you to forward properly whenever a new excavator dig site is located. When you play as Frost, you should also forward towards the newest excavator dig site carrying 2 batteries, one as your Warframe and one as your operator. This will charge the excavator together with the now defending Korra to 100%, making it quite easy for the Korra to add the final 4 batteries within 3 minutes. When facing Corpus enemies, you should always focus Nullifier Crewman and Isolator Bursas whenever possible. Both are able to dissipate the Frost Bubble and one-shot the Excavator and the Korra while they're at it. Due to the nature of the Nullifier Bubble, the modification Venari's Bodyguard doesn't work and downs the Korra until revived. When your team composition is 1 Frost, 2 Korras and 1 support, you should assign each Korra to either an even or an uneven letter. They will then stand guard at each dig site and try to fill up the excavator until it's filled out. Whenever their dig is completed, they have to proceed on to the next one. The extra dig sites should always be available after the oldest dig is completed. As Frost, You have to make sure that every dig site is globed and that your teammates have a layer of icy avalanche available. Filling excavator is less important as the support will help you wherever possible. The support should mainly focus on helping the team where they can. Buffing, filling out the excavators, disrupting the enemy forces and taking down shield drones should be their main priority. Excavators are quite fragile. 3 to 4 attacks from an enemy usually takes it out, so make sure that every layer of protection around the excavator is always up and running. When all layers can no longer be sustained, resort to using Void Dash through the excavator to give it immunity. This effect is not cancelled out by nullifiers. You can use multiple specters of different syndicates at once, allowing you to have an ancient and your specter of choice out at the same time. Using 2 mages lockdowns is better than just using one. This allows you to deal 120% of the enemy's health as puncture damage, one-shotting them immediately. Don't try to sit idle. Pile up batteries onto one place, take down arbitration drones from afar, and deliver batteries to allies when your dig site is completed. This helps your team and rewards you with potentially an extra drop during a long arbitration. This might not work out the first or second times when you try an arbitration. There is certainly a learning curve and you need to know when or when not to act. But once you reach that point, you will find yourself reaching that 40 digs milestone that makes it all worthwhile. I hope you stay well and thank you Don for helping me out with this video. Bye!